Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Green, and this is the first in a series of recordings for Pre-Cal. I just wanted to make certain I'm giving you a recording for every one of the lessons that we're doing. Where we're at right now is that we're just starting the semester. Remember, every 28 days, lessons close and they start becoming more and more difficult for you to get caught up if you're falling behind. So I want you to make certain you're staying current and keeping everything up. What we're going to be looking at is trigonometry. And this is my little trigonomic joke that I've got for the day. It says that we've got a hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. Remember, we have to talk about right triangles. And in our right triangles, we've got one side over here, we got another side over here, and the longest side is the hypotenuse, not hypotenuse, but at least it gives us something to joke about. So, we're going to be looking at trigonometry. To do that, I want to refresh your memory of something you learned in geometry. SOHCAHTOA, most common way teachers taught how to remember uh, the sine equals the opposite over the hypotenuse. The cosine equals the adjacent over the hypotenuse, and the tangent equals the opposite over the adjacent. This is just an acronym. It helps you remember the order in which you put sides of the triangles to make the ratios that we're talking about. SOHCAHTOA, other ways that it's been taught. One teacher, very old teacher, used to teach me some old horse caught another horse taking notes away. If that helped you, it helps you. It's still sine, opposite, hypotenuse, cosine, adjacent, hypotenuse, tangent, opposite, adjacent. See, it all works out the same way. The way I memorized it when I was in high school is I just wrote it down as this so that I would remember that it was the sine opposite over hypotenuse, cosine adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent adjacent over opposite. Adjacent over opposite. Come on, Mr. Green. Did I do that on that one too? Yep, I miswrote it on that one too. Opposite over adjacent. That's what it should be. Should be opposite over adjacent, and I wrote it wrong. See, it's even possible for teachers to get it wrong. Okay? Opposite over adjacent. However you remember it, you need to make certain that you're getting it right. Okay? Because you're going to be using those three functions. Actually, we're going to be using six functions. Okay? We're using a right triangle. We've got the sine of an angle as the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. Okay? The cosine as being the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. The tangent of this angle as being the opposite side divided by the adjacent side. The other three functions that we're going to be using here, one of them is the cotangent. It relates to the tangent. This is all you have to remember. It's 1 divided by the tangent. The secant, it relates to the cosine. 1 over the cosine. And the cosecant, it's 1 over the sine. Those three functions, very much related to the other three functions. That's why it's easy to remember them. All you gotta do is do 1 over the other ones, and you've got it made. Okay? Where do we use this stuff? Well, this stuff is used in a lot of different places. First and most common place that it's used is navigation. You'll read in the course itself where it talks about using a transient and being able to find the angle between you and a star and the horizon, and that helps you find your navigation. Okay? Another way of doing it is to find distance. If you're on the ground, you can use a measured distance one way and a 90-degree measurement the other way to get the hypotenuse and be able to use it for a distance measurement. A third way that it's used is usually in height. Planes and satellites use it to determine the height that they're at. Now, one of the things I want you to look at here, this is called a unit circle. Unit circle in the sense that it is a one unit. Doesn't matter what the unit measure is, 1 unit radius. Okay? And when you look at a 1 unit radius, then when you look at the sine of an angle, the hypotenuse is 1, and this height is the opposite side, and this distance is the adjacent side. And you can use this information to help you find some information. We will be using this a lot as we go along through the course of this course. Okay. One of the things that they spend a little bit of time talking about in the unit itself, in this unit, is based upon some very specific angles, the 30, 60, 90 triangle and the 45 triangle, which we know the distances on and we know the measurements of. We can find the sine, the cosine, and the tangent because it's really easy to know those distances. And if we can know those distances, we know the sine, the cosine, and the tangent based upon that information. This is important information. You will be using this type of information frequently. Most of the questions that you're going to get from a test environment are going to involve triangles that you can easily determine the lengths of their sides, or it's going to give you enough information that you'll be able to do that yourself. So, this is what we're studying the first couple of lessons, and I want you to have some fun with the first two studies. Uh, try and remember some of that stuff you were taught in geometry. Don't forget, if you're going to call me, if you're going to send me information, if you're going to IM me, make certain you tell me that you're in pre-cal so that I can find your information quickly and be able to resolve some situations. Looking forward to talking to you and seeing you in Class Connect.